Will this headphone dongle work with your phone? Okay, so the answer is yes, but as you will see in this video, it's yes, but. It's the Fosi Audio DS2 DAC and headphone amplifier dongle what's it thingy. Let's unbox it. So here we are with the Fosi Audio DS2, and I've got the manual, I've got a cable which is USB-C to USB-C, and I've got an adapter which is USB-C to USB-A. What's going on here then? Well, I'd like to say that I burnt myself on a dummy load resistor in the interests of pleasing my YouTube audience, but in fact it was just a bit of an accident in the kitchen. I don't need this, but honestly, it looks a lot better with than without. So anyway, let's get on with it. Let's get into it, as the YouTubers say. So if I look at the website, Fosi's website, they call this a small device with a big sound. It's something you can use every day. It's small and portable. Well, you can't deny that. It's powerful and tough with an elegant look. I wish I had one of those. And it's a fantastic I'm reading this, a fantastic combination of superior sound quality and compact size, making it an ideal mini headphone amplifier. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. Will this work with your phone? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes, but. Yes, but. I don't like that word, but. I'm an and kind of guy. You know, and is such a much better word than but we do have a but here. So let me just find where it is. Okay, here we go. This is interesting. It's interesting, and it's the kind of thing I'd really prefer not to see, but here we are. Please use the included USB Type-C cable to connect the DS2 to your Android, iPhone, Windows, Mac device. Please note, due to system and hardware differences, some Android phones or music players may have compatibility issues, and some phones require enabling OTG function to use the DS2 properly. OTG. When connecting the DS2 to a device with a Lightning connector, please use a Lightning to Type-C OTG cable not included in the package. Well, what is this OTG business? Well, I've looked it up, and it's complicated. It stands for on the go, and the idea is that you can use a cable or an adapter to connect things like SD cards to your phone and transfer data and all sorts of wonderful things like that. I don't want to do any of that, so I'm not interested in it. All I want to do is use my phone with the Fosi DS2. So what I'm thinking is you'll probably get away with it with an Android phone, so don't quote me on that. I know I said it, but don't quote me. With an iPhone, well, I've got an iPhone 11. I'm just going to adjust my microphone. I thought, there, do I sound better now? Hopefully I do. I've got an iPhone 11. I know it's old, but it fulfills all my purposes, and I'm shooting with it now. So if the video is good, then everything's good. And it doesn't work out of the box with the Fosi DS2. I tried a Lightning to USB-C cable, just one that I had lying around, and it did not work. So I went on Amazon. My affiliate links are in the description. Buy, looking for an OTG cable. And I'm going to tell you this is complicated. There's no end of products. There's page after page after page of products. But finding an OTG cable or adapter that will work with a headphone amplifier, that's the tricky bit. Anyway, I ordered an adapter that I thought, it seemed from the description that it would work. And I'm going to have to tell you that it did not work. So I couldn't use a standard Lightning cable. Well, I suppose I didn't expect that because I read the manual. And I tried using an OTG adapter and it still didn't work. When I say it didn't work, it worked intermittently. And by intermittently, it worked about 3 times for about half a second. That's what I could get out of it. So make of that what you will. But I did take the opportunity to try it with my iPad, which is a really old iPad, older than my phone, and it's even 32 bits, so that's showing its age. And with the OTG adapter, it did work. So I think I've said what I need to say there. There's a bit of a warning. And I'm also going to say that this Fosi Audio DS2, it might not be unique in this respect, but it says in the manual. So at least you've got something to go on there. Okay, let's ignore that. Let's have a look at the device itself. So we've got the USB-C connector. That's nice. We've got a mini jack connector. That's the normal mini jack connector there. Just got to send myself up in the image. And that is the balanced connector. So we've been through this before in some of my videos, that balanced headphones are a thing. And I still haven't found a good reason for headphones to be balanced, other than you can get more level out of the output. You can get 6 dB more level. So that would be useful for high impedance headphones. Now, when a friendly headphone manufacturer of high impedance headphones wants to send me a pair to review, I will review them and I will test them with exactly this socket here and see what results I get. So this is something for the future. I've used high impedance headphones in the past, and I made my own headphone amplifier with a balanced output, and balancing was definitely worth it. But I haven't found any other reason for having it balanced. It's certainly not interference, because there's no further amplification going on, so you don't have to worry about that. One of my commenters said it had lower noise, but to be honest, I wasn't convinced by the explanation, so maybe I just didn't understand it, maybe it's my fault. But if you want to comment and weigh in on that, please do so, because we really need some good reasons why there should be a balanced connector. One commenter said it's just bigger and better. But he said it's bigger, and bigger means better, or words to that effect. I'm not going to dispute that. It's a good job they're different sizes, so you know which is which. Okay, what we've got here on this side is high-res audio. So there's certain specifications that a piece of equipment has to achieve to be high-res. And basically I'm not going to look up the facts and figures, but basically it's frequency response, and it's the bit rate capability. If it's analog equipment, it's got to go up to 40 kilohertz, but I think we can kind of get away with it here because of the digital stuff that's going on inside. So if it doesn't do 40 kilohertz, I think, to be honest, we can forgive it for that. Who can hear that anyway? So what have we got? We've got specifications. Oh, let's just go back and see what we've got here. This is quite a nice manual. The content of the manual, I think, is good, and manuals are important. It could be bigger. Come on, it could be bigger, and the print could be bigger. But I've seen worse. I've seen plenty worse. Believe me, I've got my +2 reading glasses on at the moment, and sometimes I need my +3 or even my +4. So let's have a look at the specifications. So we know what DAC chipset it is. What's interesting about that is not that many people are going to look at that and say, oh, it's the dual CS43131. Not many people are going to do that, but what they might do is compare it with other similar devices to see whether it's got the same chipset or a different one, which would be quite an interesting thing to do. Now, the power output. I will say now that I've tried this with my own headphones, and the power output is good enough. I can get the headphones going as loud as I want without any distortion, any audible distortion, and I'm perfectly satisfied with it. 128 milliwatts, that's like what's that, an eighth of a watt? It doesn't sound like a lot, but in practice with my 32 ohm headphones, it did work just fine. So I've also had the chance to use the DS2 with my Verum 1 headphones, which are nominally 8 ohms, which would sound difficult to drive. But once again, it sounded fine. I got adequate level, perfectly adequate level, more than adequate level, with no audible distortion. Signal to noise ratio, 130 decibels. Gosh, if you can hear any noise, you must have the most remarkable hearing ever. But you know, better is better, more is more. So 130 decibels, you can't quibble with that. Frequency response, 20 kilohertz to 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, plus or minus 0.5 dB. You see, this bit on the end is important, and quite often in specifications it's left out. So it's just like that. And what do we know from that? Well, maybe we get a little bit of 20 hertz, a little bit of 20 kilohertz. What goes on in between, we don't really know. But that specifies the flatness of the response. So it's never going to be any higher than half a decibel, and it's never going to be any lower than half a decibel. So that, for most people, will be perfectly adequate. My old physics teacher could be whispering in my ear at the moment and say that hertz is spelt with a capital H and a small z. But shall we just not worry about that today? Okay, PCM. Up to pulse code modulation. So this is normal digital audio. Normal and perfectly adequate digital audio. Comments? Up to 32 bits, 384 kilohertz. Well, as we know, the CD sampling rate is 44.1 kilohertz. 48 kilohertz is also widely used, and they're both perfectly adequate for most people. 96 kilohertz. 96 kilohertz is... It's not overkill, it's more is more, better is better. Have a safety margin, have a bit of headroom going on, so I approve of 96 kilohertz. Now, whether anybody can actually hear the benefits in 384 kilohertz, I'm a little bit sceptical, but once again, it's a why not. Now, up to 32 bits, I'm going to presume that's the 32-bit float format, which in fact doesn't sound any better than 24 bits, for reasons that I might go into in a future video. So that's not so exciting as people might think. And what we do not want ever to happen in the future history of mankind is for 32-bit floating point audio to be released into the consumer market. You thought the loudness wars were bad. You just wait if that happens. DSD. For DSD fans, as I've said previously, I could say I'm not a fan of DSD, but the thing is that professionally, I've got no use for it. I mean, when they invented DSD, Digital Audio Workstation, maybe I'll examine it, but I don't think there's any advantage in it for production, to be honest. So DSD, I just don't have a use for it. But for enthusiasts, I've got no problem with people being enthusiastic about it. But once again, this is like a topic for a future video. If you're going to record something, if you're going to use DSD, it should be recorded in DSD and it should be edited in DSD. Anything that's done to it should be done in DSD and then it should be released in DSD. There should be no conversion to PCM in between. That's the thing for the audio files. But if it's going to be DSD and you convert it to PCM at some point in between, you know, there's just something not right about that. But anyway, that's a topic for another video. Dynamic range and signal to noise ratio are different things, which I have covered in a video. But once again, 130 decibels, fine. Total harmonic distortion plus noise, 0.0002%. And to think I used to use analog tape recorders and would regard 3% as a reasonable amount of distortion. 0.0002%. That effectively means no distortion for all practical purposes. Recommended headphone impedance, 16 to 300, 16 to 300. I'm surprised that they're not different, actually, but I'd have to investigate that more deeply. Supported devices, Mac, Windows, iOS, and Android. Well, we've been through that already with that page. But I've been using it with my Macintosh computer, and I'm going to tell you it works just fine. Just fine. There's no quibbles, no complaints, no difficulties, no problems, nothing. You just plug it in, plug your headphones in, and listen. Just listen. That's all you have to do. What have we got here? Oh, yes, we've got the display here. Wouldn't it be nice if we could see that little LED on? Let me get a cable. Okay, here we have a cable. There we go. So it's turned red. So what's that redness telling us? It's a sampling rate of less than 48 kilohertz, which is red. So I'm guessing this is probably the last thing that I played on my computer was 44.1 kilohertz. So I don't think we need to worry about that. And if I've been playing 48 to 96 kilohertz, it would be green. 96 to 384, it would be yellow. I don't have any way of getting it to turn yellow. And neither do I have DSD to turn it blue. But that's nice. It's nice to know what you're listening to. Let's have a look at some more here. Right, this is interesting. The DS2 does not have a built-in battery. I don't know where I stand on that, because if it works, it works. Would a built-in battery be better? So you could charge it up. It might actually, if there were a battery inside it, it might remove that OTG issue. I nearly said problem there, but I'm going to stick to issue. So it will consume power. Okay, that's fine. Delivers a high output power. Operational temperature rises approximately 15 to 25 Celsius. So it feels slightly warm during use. I don't think we need to worry about that. Oh, DSD. Yeah, they're DSD enthusiasts. You can pause the video and read that at your leisure. And read it at your leisure. Okay. Oh, what should be noted when connecting to the 4.4mm headphone jack? Please do not use any 3.5 to 4.4 adapters, as it may result in no sound, stuttering, etc. during use. Who on earth is going to be so stupid as to make a 3.5 to 4.4mm adapter? That's just craziness. That's just absolutely craziness. If you've got a 3.5 to a 4.4, it's going to short out two of the legs of the connection. That is not going to result in happiness. I'm telling you, it is not. Recommended to use 4.4mm headphones directly. Again, if some friendly headphone manufacturer wants to send me a pair of balanced headphones with a 4.4mm connector, I will review them in my channel, and I will probably get some future use out of them as well. So it might be seen multiple times. Can the DS2 be used to answer calls? Oh, this is fantastic. So you're out with your phone, presuming you've got all the OTG stuff sorted out, and you're listening to some music, and a call comes in. Well, come on, that's the last thing you want. You're out for a nice, pleasant walk, and people are trying to phone you. I'm telling you, I do not want people to phone me while I'm out walking and listening to music. You will need to converse directly via your phone speaker and microphone. I approve. Potential issues when the DS2 is connected via USB to various devices. Okay. Known scenarios. Certain phones, volume control may not affect the device's volume. Adjust the volume directly through your device. I don't think that's much of a hardship, is it? Power management may prevent apps from running in the background, causing your music playback to stop a few seconds after the device goes to sleep. Operating other applications while the DS2 is in exclusive USB audio mode may result in delays or no sound issues. Oh, yes, I agree with this. We recommend focusing solely on music playback. I recommend that. I recommend that highly. Focus on your music playback and ignore everything else. So the rest of it is just stuff that you might need to know. And, of course, we've got all the different languages in here. I could say, to be honest, I prefer a manual that's dedicated to the English language, and everything can be larger and bigger print and stuff like that, but that's a detail. So, I think I can, in the words of the mighty Lord Sugar of The Apprentice, I'm going to summarise now. It does what it says. It's a DAC, it's a headphone amplifier, and you can play music through it and listen to your music on the headphones. Okay, so we've got OTG issues, but I don't think this is unique in that respect. So I'm not going to criticise it for that. I'm going to praise Fosi for writing about it in the manual. That's it. Just one more comment on this OTG thing. There are pages and pages of cables and adapters on Amazon that claim OTG compatibility, but many of them state that they don't work with headphones. Mostly, it isn't clear. It's a jungle. If you've found a reliable solution, let us all know in the comments. Fosi Audio sent me the DS2, and other than that and any affiliate links in the description, there's no payment involved. So I can say what I like, and I've said it. See you soon.